De minister van Buitenlandse Zaken, Ildis Polak-Bigli, die pleit dat de UN meer ruimte, meer financiën en meer zeggenschap krijgt in Suriname. Dit zei de minister vandaag bij de opening van de tweedaagse consultatiemeeting over de Verenigde Naties. Wat is er gedaan in de afgelopen jaren met de Verenigde Naties in Suriname? Daarover en andere zaken gaat deze tweedaagse consultatiemeeting. We voeren nu naar BUSA-minister Ildis Polak-Bigli.
This consultation is aimed at taking stock of what has been achieved in the past year, as well as reaching consensus by both parties on the two-year planning of the Country Implementation Plan 2019-2020. This plan, as you would now know, falls under the umbrella of the regional planning with the United Nations system, referred to as the United Nations Multi-Country Sustainable Development Framework. And we know the UN has a lot of acronyms, so this one is the UN MSDF 2017-2021. In this regard, I recall the Secretary General's report on repositioning the United Nations Development System to deliver on the 2030 Agenda, our promise for dignity, prosperity, and peace on a healthy planet. This is a report from 2017 December. We have also seen the interest of the UN Secretary General as he has been present at the recently concluded CARICOM Heads of Government meeting and personally showed interest to the development of our region. And I would want to quote something that he said in the report that is even now relevant. He said, and I emphasize what it was, as I quote, "The United Nations Development Assistance Frameworks should become clear, action-oriented United Nations response to national development priorities in each country, integrating the Sustainable Development Goals." End of quote. That's why I'm so pleased to have not only Foreign Affairs here, the Planning Coordination Meeting Institute, but also each stakeholder from our side. It would be with our input that we will be able to frame the development path through the UN system for our country. Additionally, the Secretary General's report on implementation of the General Assembly Resolution 71-243 on the quadrennial comprehensive policy review of operational activities for development of the United Nations 2019 system says, and I refer to a redesignated framework that is renamed by the Secretary General as the United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework. In this framework, the SG reiterates as key objective ensuring that the cooperation framework is fully responsive to national priorities. And I want to commend Armstrong by alluding to the need for the framework to change the lives of each Surinamese citizen. Participants, ladies and gentlemen, to ensure effectiveness of the delivery on the ground, bearing in mind coordination of activities of the various United Nations, I wish to highlight the following. For the reconfiguration of its development system structure, Suriname specifically proposes the hereby announced issues. Firstly, the regrouping of the countries with which it would share United Nations resources, specifically excluding overseas territories of developed countries, in light of the extensive but shared challenges and taking into account political realities, geographic spreading, and geopolitical arena, Suriname proposes further to explore several models, including the development of an entirely new structure covering only Suriname and probably Guyana, where agencies are distributed between the two at a more or less equal level, and in which the resident representative and the resident coordinator would be enabled to dedicate maximum attention to their mandates. The second point is that the addition of more UN agencies serving Suriname is crucial. Thirdly, the addition of an FAO representative on the ground. This is something we have been exploring for a while. Our Minister of Agriculture spoke with the FAO on this, and we're looking forward to serious consideration on this request. Appointment of a UNDP resident representative solely assigned to and residing in Suriname, which will not be combined with another country office. This is pertinent and it's needed because as a full member of the United Nations, Suriname has equal responsibility to report on the 2030 agenda, and so equal responsibility requests this kind of attention. The government of the Republic of Suriname strives to continue its efforts in developing the national economy in a sustainable manner, in which the three dimensions of sustainable development, economic, social, and environment are intertwined and addressed. After an evaluation of the implementation of the Country Implementation Program 2018 and in preparation of the SIP 2019-2020, the government felt the need to propose the following clustering to ensure a clear, coherent, comprehensive, and effective program planning aligned to the national policy areas as outlined in our multi-annual development plan, namely the reform or institutional strengthening of the national planning system, including capacity strengthening within the government institutions. Secondly, agricultural production and food safety, not only technical assistance but also financial direction. Environment, including climate adaptation and mitigation, water and waste management, disaster risk management and forestry management. The area of education, the area of health, integrated social policy, including women and youth. Based on the multi-annual development plan, the government introduced 4 ministerial clusters in this coming SIP. Firstly, governance, enabling ministries, production, and social ministries. On the second day of this consultation meeting, I learned that working sessions will be held with the UN system to deliberate on these clusters as proposed by the government, as well on the projects proposed for the SIP 2019-2020. The intention is to work towards adaptation of the SIP 2019-2020 at the end of the session. Participants, ladies and gentlemen, this consultation, I believe, also provides an opportunity to have deliberations on the development strategy issues. The government of Suriname will present the national development indicators for monitoring development policies and the sustainable development goals, as well as the planning of Suriname's voluntary SDG reporting next year. We look forward to the adaptation of these indicators. Before I close, allow me to say some words in Dutch. Ik denk dat het belangrijk is om vanmorgen te benadrukken dat Suriname als volwaardig lid van de United Nations hier vandaag een zeer belangrijke exercitie onderneemt. Eén, waarbij wij als land onszelf kunnen projecteren, maar meer nog onze eigen ontwikkelingsdoelen peren, eigenlijk clusteren, eigenlijk concreter maken met de ontwikkelingsdoelen van de Verenigde Naties. Het zijn niet de doelen van de Verenigde Naties, het zijn de doelen van de landen. En daarom is deze exercitie zo belangrijk. Ten tweede wil ik aangeven dat we zometeen weer de UN General Assembly zullen hebben in New York. En dan zullen we weer eens praten over wat het land en landen in de wereld willen zien gebeuren rond een bepaald thema. Ik mag u informeren dat de regering heel binnenkort een werkgroep zal instellen, interdepartementaal, om de SDG's nauwgezet te volgen, maar meer nog werkbaar te maken voor ons land. Zodat wij ook volgend jaar, zoals ik net heb aangekondigd, in staat zullen zijn een voluntary representatie te kunnen doen van waar we zijn met de 2030 Development Agenda. En het laatste dat ik wil aangeven is dat u mij hebt horen oproepen dat de UN ook in Suriname hun politieke weight gaat vergroten. What I just said, I want Armstrong to listen keenly. You need to take it back to the UN that Suriname wants a political increase and weight increase of your offices here. We have spoken about the FEO because we are an agricultural country. We have spoken about the UN resident representative. These two things I want you to take as an immediate request from us after this session to the UN back. And I believe with the SG, his representation in our region only last week, we are at the right point to